More like Joker Folia Doo-Doo. Joker 2 is getting some pretty bad reviews, so here's another one. Normally, I don't look at reviews before I see something I plan to make a quickie on. I don't like my opinion being manipulated. But this one was kind of hard to avoid. Finding someone who actually likes this movie is like trying to find a shiny Pokemon while playing Fortnite. But even so, I tried going into this with an open mind, and I did see that it wasn't as bad as I expected. I mean, the opening scene was pretty good. But that's it, folks. That's all I got. After watching Joker 1, a movie that I liked when I saw it, I was hoping that any sequels would take this version of the character in a different direction. But when I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, it's not just going to be entirely set in Arkham, right? And yeah, I'm sorry. This movie is literally only set in two places, Arkham and the courthouse. As such, the film's entire purpose is to remind us what happened in Joker 1. Most of the scenes are of Joker reflecting on what he did in the first movie, or having other characters in the courtroom tell him what he did in the first movie. And the scenes that aren't revolving around that are just featuring the Joker and Harley singing old licensed music. And personally, I'm not against musicals like some people are. I like musicals, if the music is good. Musicals work when the songs cleverly reveal to the audience what the characters are thinking and feeling. We might get insight that we didn't have before. And when the characters are singing original songs, we get to hear good music that we haven't heard before. But none of that is on display here. Joker and Harley only sing when we know exactly how they feel, and they only sing about exactly how they're feeling. On top of that, they only sing songs that we've already heard before. Out of the dozen or so songs we hear, I think one was a Gaga original. I don't get anything out of a movie where the characters are just fucking around and singing show tunes. There's really no narrative benefit to having Joker and Harley sing like 10 songs about how much they fucking like each other. When I heard that this movie was going to be a musical, I was actually pretty interested because that sounded like a unique, fun idea. But the songs do not do anything to enhance the storyline at all. That's really all the movie is. Joker's sad, then Harley shows up, and then they sing a song about being in love. And that happens like 6 times, and then the movie ends. It might be the laziest way to create a Joker and Harley story. And I like that the first Joker movie had a lot of moving parts in it. It wasn't just, look at this guy, isn't he crazy? The film kept you engaged with varying story beats that converge into a decently serviceable ending. Yeah, it took a lot of those parts from other more successful and better movies, but to me it was clearly paying homage. I don't subscribe to the idea that it's just ripping off Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. I mean, the main actor from those movies is a main character of the film, so to me, it's clearly an homage, so I don't mind it as much. But when you get to this movie, you're left with what Todd Phillips can make when he doesn't have anything to reference. You're left with what the original movie could have been if it didn't have anything going for it. A movie that only serves to show us, wow, look at this guy, isn't he crazy? I think every film enjoyer such as myself has had an experience where you watched a movie in a theater, a film that was probably a little high concept, but you liked it anyway. And when you walk out of the theater, you hear the normal movie-going audience reaction, and they don't get it like you do, which is fine. But you might hear someone say this phrase, "What was even the point of that movie?" And I hate this sentence. It is one of my least favorite sentences in the English language. Right next to "What are we doing for dinner?" and of course there's also
"An ally has been slain."
What's the point of anything you watch? To entertain you, educate you, show you something unique and transformative? Saying, "What's the point of this?" is such a generic and empty way to say, I didn't get that movie, so it must be the movie's fault. I hate that phrase so fucking much. So it really takes a lot for me to admit that when I walked out of Joker 2, I said, what was even the fucking point of that movie? It shows us nothing new about the character. It introduces us to a Harley who we've seen better iterations of in just about every film or show featuring her, and it literally only serves to remind us of what happened in the last movie. The ending is just a backhanded attempt to keep things in line with the regular DC universe, but it's done in a way that will probably just offend most people. It is very, very difficult to enjoy this movie. It's not funny bad, it's not even mildly entertaining, it's just really boring. If you've seen a trailer for this film, you probably get the idea. You can skip it. The performances are decent, Gaga can sing real well, but that's it. The actual content of the narrative is so bad that I cannot fathom watching this movie again. For me, the worst kind of superhero movie is one where it's not even bad enough for me to make a worst superhero movies video. Thanks for wasting my time, Todd. So 3 out of 10. Go see Transformers instead. Yeah, guess what, baby? This is a double quickie. But I don't have a lot to say about Transformers, and I didn't even put it in the thumbnail or the title because my double quickies never do as well, and I need to trick you little fuckers into watching this movie. Transformers 1 is actually really good. The characterization is fresh. I love that we get to see a version of Optimus and Megatron that we haven't seen in a film before. We can see the natural progression from young, inexperienced goofballs to strong, powerful leaders. It's shocking how natural this progression is in such a short time, but I do think the film pulls it off really well. Like, you can literally hear Chris Hemsworth's voice change over the course of the movie, from plucky action hero guy to the commanding Peter Cullen growl that we're used to. And Brian Tyree Henry is so good as Megatron that it kinda makes me mad. I spent the last few years suffering through the Transformers movies and wishing Megatron was cooler. When I could've had this? Are you kidding me? Some people say that his turn to the dark side was too sudden, but I don't agree. I feel like it was actually done pretty well. It helps that his anger with society and his frustrations about how the world works are very reasonable. It's very easy to find yourself agreeing with him. This movie actually does ride the line between fun kids movie and Shakespearean robot drama very well. Since the characters are robots, they don't have to shy away from death and murder, and even the themes of social inequality are a bit deeper than I expected. I thought this movie would just be your usual racial allegory of some robots are treated good in society, and some aren't. But it actually goes deeper than that. It's more about how those who are rich and successful are ruining the world for everybody else, which is something that most people can relate to. And believe me when I say that the last act of this movie is godlike. It's so good that I might just go see it again. Yeah, actually I think I will. Not like that other shit I watched this week. So yeah, I'm not going to say anything else because I went into this movie blind and I had an amazing time, and I think you will too. I think that's the best way to enjoy something like this. Unfortunately, this movie isn't doing very well because it had horrible marketing, and a lot of people don't even know that it came out. And I would really like to get a sequel to it. It would be so sick. And it's not going to happen unless you guys refund those Joker tickets you may have gotten for the weekend and go see Transformers instead. Trust me, you will not regret it. 8 out of 10, you're welcome.